back to Billionaires Newswire. I'm Ariana Escalante here with tech entrepreneur and business genius, Mr. Ron Creevy. Ron, thanks for being with us.
Hi, thank you for coming.
Yeah, thanks for having us in this amazing X Studios. So this is your baby. Tell me about kind of the background on this place.
Oh, this is a concept that we came up with now 18 months ago on the back of a technology that I'd been developing called XCast. We needed XCast as similar to like an immediate YouTube, the ability to broadcast from any device to any device, which is where we've got the platform to today. But what we thought we needed to do is take the next step and actually build a social broadcasting studio. So with the likes of Carl Sandilands and a couple of other people had some ideas of what we could do. First I started with the room in there, then I started with this room, and then I just kept going. So over a 12-month period, we put, not far off $7 million in sweat and tears and cash into getting this venue absolutely right. I think not only is it probably the hottest venue in Sydney for broadcasting from, but equally it allows talent to come into the venue and broadcast via the app, and equally into other social networks. So we achieved it.
So you have a background in media technology companies.
Yeah.
Tell me more about that background.
Oh, look, I was lucky enough to partner up with some young, brilliant minds, literally not long out of school. We were early, 21 years old. We built the first internet company in Australia.
Let me stop you.
Yeah.
He built the first internet company.
With a group of guys, yes.
Of course, yes. Yeah. But in Australia, you literally kind of brought the internet to Australia. At such a young age. How old were you?
Well, I was about 22 at the time, and
just what other 22-year-olds are doing, with their time.
No, that's we didn't really understand at that point too. I think how big it was at that moment. We built the first website ever in the country, which was the Sydney Morning Herald. We actually used to publish the news on there ourselves, so the news was always like 3 days late. Do you know what I mean? Because it was typing it up, and then by the time we were sort of 24, 25, we'd sold that out to NTT for over 100 million, which is the biggest carrier in the world, which is the phone company, and then I've just kept doing it. I've just sold just listed my last company for over 300 million in Singapore. I have many shareholders in everything I do now. I'm sort of not driven as much about selfishly chasing how much money I make out of any deal anymore. To me, it's about the deal. Then it's about how difficult I can make the situation or that technology or that product so that it makes it very hard for anybody to copy.
If you could go back to your 22-year-old self and kind of show young Ron what's going on now, what do you think you would have said?
I think the most important thing is that I would definitely have told myself that money isn't the only thing that's important in life. Yes, it's important to be financially responsible, but I equally think if I could just say one thing to myself back then, just be happy, and everything's happened. And that's what I said to myself. As long as I'm happy, then I don't have anything to worry about. And that's I remind myself of that pretty much every day.
What is it like kind of trying to do business in disruptive technology in somewhere like Singapore or Asia versus the United States or even Australia?
Asia's hard. Asia's very difficult, so you crack it in Asia, you can make it big time. So I've spent a big part of my life now focused on the Asian market, Southeast Asia, primarily recently with Yuzu, which Yuzu now has expanded into China outside of what I'm doing with them. As a market for us, it's been something that's it's equally important to focus on. In the US is equally extremely important to focus on. However, I'm a big believer that sort of Europe's the past and America's the present, Asia's the future. So I very much focus on that. Equally respectfully, I know that America being the present, you don't know if that present's still another 50 years, But we do know that Asia is the future, so you have to firmly keep focused on that.
What would you kind of advise to others who are trying to get into having their own businesses be successful, from taking it from a concept or an idea into being a profitable and long-term type business?
Everyone comes to me with great ideas. The first thing I say to them, if you don't have the courage to go on your own, and you don't have the courage to not receive a salary, then this is not the world that you need to be involved in. But that's that 1%ers that do go for it and have a go. And look, all entrepreneurs that go for it, I respect. And if I see them in trouble or see them have an issue, I will always try and assist them and give if they come to me, because equally I receive that. So I've got some mentors around me, very, very powerful individuals. from here in Sydney with Bob Mansfield to, you know, founder of Optus, to Nigel Ray, you know, one of the most powerful, I'd say, entrepreneurs there is in London. And between those two guys, you know, I get the best advice on a weekly basis. Yeah.
Teaching by example, you clearly have a library of highlights in your career, but what about times that, you know, have been kind of rough?
In 2006, you know, I hit the wall on a deal big time, you know, and I was forced down a path that was you know, was very horrible, and managed to come out the other end, you know, okay. And then I had to start from scratch again and scrap again to build Yuzu. So that was a period of about 4 years that was really hurt, you know. And at that point, then there was every opportunity for me to go and work for a big company.
Sure. Yeah.
And I was offered many roles in many big companies.
And how much did you consider that?
Never. That was the greatest opportunity for me, just to, you know, get my ass back off the floor and just do it again.
What do you see for the future of technology? I know you've mentioned Asia a lot, but kind of what do you
look, the mobile device in its format is 100% here. I think IPTV and the TV as a device is set to really take off. I feel that the clutter of mobile is about to be, in the next few years, people start to come to grips with that. You know, they're getting app fatigue type thing. So only the really important things will survive. And I feel that, you know, people will start to maybe even take a little bit more of a backward step a little bit, I think. So I think that we're seeing now for the first time, like my mobile phone, I don't have hardly any apps on there anymore. I don't have email on there anymore.
I heard a little birdie told me that you're into sailing.
Yes.
It's one of your other hobbies. So my question for you is, some people liken sailing to business. You have to have, you know, kind of a captain steering the ship. You have to have a crew to keep you afloat. What kind of similarities do you see in sailing and business?
I sort of didn't get into sailing to understand how to sail in the harbour. I went deep end again. I got into ocean racing.
It's run, right?
Yeah, I went through a tornado in 2001, which was made you really sort of, you know, count your fingers and your blessings and everything else like that. And I was lucky enough to win the Hobart, you know, which is, you know, obviously arguably the toughest ocean race in the world. So I was lucky to have again a brilliant crew of people around me, but it's the same thing, you know. Big risks can give you big rewards, but equally unmanaged big risks can take your life or it can ruin you. So there's a lot of similarities there.
Yeah. Brilliant. Well, Ron, I really appreciate your time. We're here with Ron Creevy on Billionaires Newswire. But last but not least, I want to get a tour of the rest of this place, so I can go check it out.
Yep, let's do it.
Cool.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you.